Ugly Stik, a brand that pretty much every fisherman has heard of. No matter if you're 10 years old or 80 years old, everyone's probably fished an Ugly Stik at some point in time in their life. The reason why is because they are known for making durable, bang for your buck, overall just great value rods that are going to last you a lifetime. Two of those rods in the lineup are the Ugly Stik GX2 and the Ugly Stik Elite. Both of those are pretty much their two most well-known rods. You can get them at pretty much any tackle shop around you. I have done a review on the GX2 in the past. I praised it, I loved it, but today we're talking about the Elite. Is it worth it, or should you just stick with the GX2? Find out in today's video. First, let's go over the specs on the rod that I have with me today. So this rod right here, the model is USE SP662M. Now this is a 6 foot 6 inch length rod. It is a medium power. It has an extra fast action. The line weight is 6 to 14 pound. The lure weight is 1/4 to 5/8 ounce. The guides are 7 including tip. This is a 2-piece rod, and the MSRP is $60. Now, let's first talk about some of the key differences between the Elite and the GX2. Now, the GX2 is $40, and this is around $60, so there is a $20 raise in price on the Elites, but it is for a reason. Ugly Stik GX2s do not usually have cork. They are usually a full foam handle. The Elites have complete cork, and they are not a split grip or anything. They are a full cork handle, which those of you that know me know I love my full cork handles. They also have 35% more graphite in the rod, which is basically going to make it more sensitive, right? It's going to be a better blank overall. You're going to feel more bites than the GX2s. The other thing as well is this has an upgraded reel seat compared to the GX2. The GX2 is more of like this little foam screw piece that goes in. This actually has a little, cork bumper at the top, and then actually has a screw-in reel seat like this, kind of like more of what a normal rod has. A normal rod would have this style versus the other one. So those are the main differences between the two. There may be a couple different things. I know paint job is pretty much the same. The guides look the same. A lot of things look pretty similar, but according to their website, real quick from what I could find, those seem to be the key differences. We'll get into this a little bit later into the durability aspect, but I don't think that extra 35% graphite made this rod any less durable than the GX2s, but it definitely made it a lot more sensitive, which is definitely a big plus. Now, talking about versatility on this rod, Ugly Stiks are kind of known for having a pretty long line of products. A couple examples I have here on my little note sheet. We have a 5-foot ultralight. You can do a 7-foot ultralight, 7.6 medium light, 7-foot medium, 7-foot medium heavy. I mean, pretty much those 5 that I just named you are going to cover 95% of freshwater applications, right? Your 7-foot medium heavy, big catfish, carp, stuff like that. 7.6 medium light would be a perfect all-around bass and trout rod. And you got that 5-foot ultralight, which would be a super fun little bluegill crappie rod, or a great rod for kids too. So yeah, pretty much you can cover a lot of different freshwater species. As for saltwater, a 7-foot medium heavy would definitely work for certain species, some inshore stuff. But I wouldn't go anything obviously offshore. Ugly Stik has plenty of rods geared just for salt that I would check out for those. Now as for looks, I kind of already said it, I'm very biased. I love a full cork handle, so I'm going to rate this pretty high on looks. I like it too when they bring in the rubberized cork in between. I know like my Okuma Guide Select Pro has that as well. It just kind of is cool. It shows a little extra detail in there. Yeah, the Ugly Stik engraved on the full cork handle at the bottom. It's a way better reel seat than the Ugly Stik GX2s. Looks a lot better and is also just overall easier to use. So I like the look on that. Got the classic red wraps on the Ugly Stik rods. The regular GX2s have that as well. And then the overall rod blank itself is pretty plain. It's pretty much just all black, which is fine by me. I don't like a whole lot of junk going on my rods. I like them plain, just read bites. That's what I want a rod for, right? As for durability, just because it has that 35% extra graphite does not mean it is, less durable than the GX2s. I definitely think that graphite only aided in increasing the sensitivity and not decreasing the durability of the rod. This is another one like the GX2s, which is a great rod to give for someone that, hasn't fished very much, or give it to some kids, or just somebody who's known for not treating their gear very well, because it's just a rod that is going to be very hard for them to break. I would say on pretty much any rod on the market, I think the Ugly Stiks are probably the best in terms of durability. I did knock the GX2 on the review for not being super sensitive, but I think this one's a little better. We'll get into that in a little bit here. As for the sensitivity portion, right, definitely reads bites better than the GX2. That is the big plus, I think, of all the takeaways of this versus the GX2. It is that you are going to have a much more sensitive rod in your hand than the GX2. And in my opinion, I think that $20 extra is worth it, because I do think it's a pretty big difference. It still is an Ugly Stik style rod. They're not known for being super sensitive rods. Overall, it's still not the most sensitive. Like, it still is an Ugly Stik. It is still extremely durable, and with that durability, you're going to trade some sensitivity, right? So is it better than the GX2? Yes. Is it still lacking in terms of overall sensitivity? Of course, but it's really hard to compare this with like some bass rod, right? That's like, it's meant for like a drop shot finesse setup. Like you can't compare them, because they're made from completely different materials, and they're meant for totally different things. So yeah, overall better than GX2, but still lacking in the overall market. As for casting, it casts great. Ugly Stiks are kind of known for having that like a little moderate bend, even though it's an extra fast action. Like, it still has kind of this odd bend to the top, and it helps kind of throw some of those heavier weights really well. And because it is an Ugly Stik, you can kind of go higher than the rating that they tell you on this. You can push those limits in terms of what you're casting, because it's such a durable rod, right? So in terms of casting, I think it does great. You can throw a lot of different stuff on these. Yeah, casting pretty good. As for price, I think $60 is fine. I think $20 extra compared to the GX2, you're getting a lot of upgrades in overall quality. If you're just going for catfish or something and you really don't care, you just want to spend $40, then go with the GX2. By all means, knock yourself out. But if you're going to be fishing this rod, even in situations where maybe you're having to read bites for catfish a little bit more, or you want a couple extra little features in your rod, and you're totally fine with going up to a $60 rod, then hands down the Elite is going to be the better option for you. Just between the upgraded reel seat, the handle, and the little bit more sensitive rod, that could be $30 or $40 higher, I think, than the Ugly Stik GX2. And I still think those upgrades alone would be enough to warrant that price. Yeah, and not to mention the fact that they're super durable, so you're going to have this for a long time. So $60 really isn't much in the long term. I think for bass and situations where you need a sensitive rod to really read bites, then maybe this wouldn't be the best option for you. But for anything catfish, any type of bottom fishing, or like heavier game fish, this is an awesome rod just because of how durable it is. And I think this one would be better than the GX2, because if you are catfishing and you need to read bites, say you're in a river or current or just whatever, fishing for striper, a lot of different situations where you're trying to maybe read a bite off the bottom, even though you're just maybe throwing out worms. This is going to do a better job than the GX2. So that is why I would go up in that $20 just to have something a little bit nicer to read bites and stick a big fish. So let's go over the pros and cons real quick of the Ugly Stik Elite. First of all, the rod looks great. Big upgrade from the GX2 in terms of the full cork handle, just looks really nice. Also, like I said, that cork handle. The cork handle is awesome. I'm not a big fan of that cheap foam stuff, so I think that cork was a huge upgrade. Really make the rod fish and just look nicer. Also, great components. I mean, that upgraded reel seat is really nice. It feels a little higher quality in your hand than the GX2s. It's also extremely durable. It didn't really sacrifice any of that GX2, durability and bomb-proofness of it, right? So, super durable rod as well. As for cons, it is still not as sensitive as some other products. If there's certain species where you're really needing to read bites, you know, say like a drop shot finesse setup for bass or something like that, then I still wouldn't go with this. I'd upgrade maybe an extra 20 bucks and just get something a little bit better for that. So just wrapping it up here, I think this is an exceptional rod for 60 bucks. There's a lot of different situations that I've named in this video, like for kids, for somebody that's hard on their gear, if you're going for catfish or a species that kind of takes a toll on your rods, right? There's a lot of different situations that the Ugly Stiks are awesome for, and the Elite kind of opens up that range a little bit because it is a little more sensitive rod than the GX2s. So there's a lot of different things about this rod that I really like. It's a fantastic product. Ugly Stik doesn't really make a bad product. They've got really good stuff. It's great value items for the everyday fisherman. I love it. Overall, I'm giving this a rating of 9 out of 10. Phenomenal rod, awesome company, awesome product. I love it. If you guys want a rod that is maybe not as durable as this, but a lot more sensitive for those different finesse applications, I will put that video right up here for you. If you guys want a good reel to match with this rod, I will put that on the other side for you. Hopefully you guys got a kick out of today's episode, and we'll see you guys next time on Humbug Videos.